The next question is more so that come out of nowhere, somebody who's rostered in 10% or less of leagues. We see it every year, a stretch run hero that goes bananas that nobody was really thinking about, that nobody had on their radar. Did somebody jump to mind for you right now as this kind of come out of nowhere candidate for the second half of 2024?
Yeah, I think you went like a little deeper cuts than I did on this. But the name that I got down was Odunze. I mean, you just really see we've seen the breakout of Caleb Williams. I know it's come against two of the most favorable matchups and just piss poor defenses in the NFL. But I mean, you're seeing Caleb Williams come on. I'm watching a lot of these Odunze routes. I'm seeing him winning these routes. I'm seeing him get open. I'm not seeing a whole lot from Keenan Allen. We like the whole rookie post-buy narrative fits very well for him. The draft capital is there. I know like a lot of the peripheral metrics, like the yards per route run and some of the target earning stuff, it's not where you want it to be. I mean, like it's frankly concerning, but so that's why I kind of think it fits. He fits into this category. I still very much believe in the talent of Odunze. I think this is an ascending offense. I think Keenan Allen is a declining asset in both the NFL and fantasy football. And I really think that the Bears are going to look to work in their rookie wide receiver, their top 10 pick, into the offense to a higher degree here down the stretch. And I believe he has the talent to make the most of a wider role and more opportunity.
Yeah, I think the post-buy rookie bump is so real, and a top 9 overall pick in the draft, getting a post-buy rookie bump is certainly, and he's out there in a lot of leagues. He got cut by a lot of impatient owners out there. So I think he's a really good one to toss out of there because it is kind of come out of nowhere. You've seen truly just one great game, but I think that's a really nice toss out there. I did go a little deeper in terms of like rostership here. And the guy I'm going to toss out there is Cedric Tillman. I know this is like a complete Hail Mary out there, but I see one game without Amari Cooper. And what does Cedric Tillman do? He catches 8 of 12 targets, 81 yards, ultimately going for 16 PPR points, was the wide receiver 11 this past week. But it's more than just the fact that, like, no Cooper, 12 targets, okay? It's the fact that he saw 31% first read targets, was tied with David Njoku here. It's the fact that he was expected to score 24.2 fantasy points and led all wide receivers in that metric. It was no Cooper, who's going to be our wide receiver one? Judy, right? Or Elijah Moore. No, they decided we're going to craft this around Cedric Tillman. And we know that Jameis Winston's now coming in quarterback. He loves these type of big body guys that you can just throw it up to, let him make the plays. I think Cedric Tillman and him are going to be a perfect mold here. And I think it's just the start of something great. So I really, really like Cedric Tillman to be that come out of nowhere type of guy. But also Kimani Vidal. I think he's got the clear number 2 back role here behind only J.K. Dobbins. And as we talked about, the one that I'm not buying, I don't think J.K. Dobbins is going to last through the season, whether it's injury, whether he loses steam. But I think everything about this setup, why I bet so heavily on Gus and was so wrong, but ultimately that's all still true in terms of a top 10 line, a top 5 run rate, a very creative run scheme under Greg Roman. And I know it's very limited snaps so far for Vidal, but whether it was the preseason or whether it's that wheel route where he catches the touchdown, whenever he's on the field, I get that little bit of electricity from him. And I just think he's going to be a guy that at some point steps into the starter role of a very run-heavy and very effective run game. And I think Vidal's going to have one of those like crazy, maybe it's in their fantasy playoffs, he's just 4 games, but it's ultimately 20 points a week, something crazy like that. So I'm going Cedric Tillman. I'm going Kimani Vidal as my come out of nowhere. Do you have any other ones you want to toss out there?
I didn't get anyone down, but I mean, Blake Corum's one of my favorite stashes right now. I picked him up in multiple leagues where he was dropped. I mean, it's the same. He's not going to hit your roster unless Kyren Williams gets hurt. I mean, like, I don't know, like, obviously, like, as bye weeks and injuries pile up, like, you have to make roster crunch decisions, but like, why not continue to stash? Nothing's changed. You're only using him if Kyren Williams gets hurt, and he more than likely becomes a bell cow in that case. So I don't think it comes to fruition, but I mean, like, that's probably my favorite stash right now.
I think he's a great one in that same mold too. 2 guys I don't like. I think a lot of people are aware of Corum being a great stash, yet he's still only 11% rostered. I definitely think he is among the most elite handcuffs you could add. 2 guys that are only 3% rostered, but I think fit that bill of if the starter goes down would be potential top 15 running back. Kendre Miller sneakily leaped, and I don't like Kendre Miller. I've never been a big fan of the guy. But he kind of leaped Jamal Williams this past week, played far more snaps, 6 carries, 36 yards. Love the Gary Kubiak-inspired scheme with his son here, Clint Kubiak, the zone blocking, the marrying the run and the pass. I could see Kendre Miller, if something happened to Alvin Kamara, being a smash play. And then Dameon Pierce, as ugly as it is, I know his Houston Texans tenure has been very tumultuous. And since the new zone blocking scheme and Blobby Slowa came in, he just has not been all that effective. But Cam Akers has been shipped away. He's looked at least a lot more explosive this past year, that 50-yard touchdown run just 2 weeks ago. So Mixon, we've already seen him miss some time with injuries, aging back, getting huge workloads. Dameon Pierce, another one that nobody really seems to be sniffing around right now on those best stash lists. We all know the Braylon Allens. We all know these exciting rookies that could be monsters. But I think Kendre Miller and Dameon Pierce could both be some real big stretch run heroes if something happens to the running backs in front of them, and they're aging veterans getting huge workloads. Pretty good people to target there behind Kamara and Joe Mixon, in my opinion.
I like those call-outs.
Sweet. All righty, Mo. What is up, you fantasy wolf? Thanks so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, share your thoughts in the comments, check out some more videos, and join the newest Wolfpack by subscribing below.